Ask yourself this, and be honest. Do you absolutely positively need a new M4 MacBook Pro now, or can you wait for the presumably much better M5 MacBook Pro coming out sometime next? The one that might just have a new design and a tasty OLED display. That's Ritchie's second law. Wait as long as you possibly can to upgrade, then get the best possible upgrade you can, keep it as long as you possibly can, and enjoy the ever-loving stuffing out of it with zero regrets, because there will always be something new and something next. And if you have an M1 MacBook Pro, or especially later, and I'm talking a real Pro like M1 Pro or M1 Max Pro, not that Diet Coke tweener of a Touch Bar Pro, then you should be fine, dandy even. Yes, every generation of M-series Apple Silicon has totally offered improvements in performance and efficiency, from the iterative to the impressive. More transistors, more cores, more memory, faster memory, more displays, more features like ray tracing and built for Apple Nope. Literally no one should think they need to upgrade to handle the awesome compute demands of Genmoji. But whatever. Unless you have a very specific, very end game demanding need for that performance or memory or displays or ray tracing. And I'm talking like holding super large 3D or language models in memory, running umpteen Zoom rooms for like virtual events all across your wall, or time is literally money for very large or very high frequency renders or some combination of very heavy apps, or, just trying to keep a bunch of browser tabs live in this post-zero regression era. Unless you're doing that, unless you're feeling consistent pain with the constraints of your current machine, you are still absolutely fine to hang on to it for a little while longer. Unless money is no object, or you work in the kind of production environment or professional capacity where whatever gear you get gets paid down in a gig or two. And if that's the case, you've already done you. Thank you so much for still watching. But even if you are feeling just a little pain, like that Apple Silicon that was so damn snappy at purchase now feels like it's downright nappy every time you launch a new appy. Sorry. Well, even in the 2020s, you'd be stupefied, dumbfounded at what a restore or refresh or even a simple reboot can do to beat the bit rot and reset your expectations. But if you can wait, if you can hold off 6 months or a year or more, would it even be worth the wait? And that's hard to say, except not really. I've got one small and one big item on my personal MacBook Pro break open the bank bucket list. It's just unclear if they're coming with the M5 maybe in the spring of 2026, or M6 at some point maybe in 2027. First is a redesign, because as much as some of y'all saw the current chassis and were like, yes, finally, Apple listened, I am firmly with those others who were more like, oh, whenever people say Apple is listening, it means Apple is no longer leading, who felt like Ops was just interfering with ID. Brass overcorrected after the butterfly keyboard kerfuffle and went straight into pundit placater mode, and basically turned the MacBook Pro into something way closer akin to a MacBook prosumer. Now, Ops versus ID and whoever is watching too much HD 2D and little old me is a hot topic that deserves its own video. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear that rant. Regardless, whether whatever design comes next has a dynamic pinhole island instead of a notch, or Thanos resnaps thinner bezels, or God, computational Face ID, and no more having to even think about paying licensing fees to Qualcomm based on retail price C-Series 5G modem, if M5 can just shave off some clunk and shove back some non-legacy ports, namely that fourth Thunderbolt, it sure would tempt me. But what would really sell me, is OLED. Mini LED is good, Mini LED is fine. For larger than phone size displays that require consistency at scale, up until very recently, Mini LED and local dimming zones were the best choice for the highest dynamic range. Even if they were a bit smeary around the dark mode bottoms and bloomy around the cinematic brights, they're good, great even. But tandem OLED, like the latest generation iPads Pro, that's magic. If Apple could stretch tandem OLED from 11 and 13 to 14 and 16 inches with the same consistency and quality, if Apple could nail it on the MacBook displays the same way they nailed it oh so very hard on the iPads, that would pretty much be an insta-buy for me, regardless of whatever obscene to truly offensive price point they end up rolling in on. If Apple could do that by M5 next spring or M6 next whenever, that would completely be worth waiting for me. Your mileage, your kilometerage might vary. Like, you might all caps love the current design and its not so current ports, not care one pixel or bit about OLED, and not need any of the whatever performance efficiency more smaller process and newer silicon IP bring. And that's just exactly how all of this is really supposed to work. Cost of the new device minus any trade-in, resale, or price drop you can find versus the potentially very real value or pure pleasure you'd get from having that upgraded machine here, now, and in your hands on the daily. In other words, if getting an M4 will make your work significantly better, faster, stronger, longer, or simply more enjoyable right now, today, and every day until the spring and for the next few or several years that follow, pull a Nike and just do it. Otherwise, if your current laptop is still physically and emotionally fine, then fine. Keep your money in a sock or the bank or index fund and abide like the dude for M5. Then rerun the math. Or just hit subscribe and I'll do it for you.